Alright, so when it comes to heaters, there's two different sizes that SJ Party has. We have 80,000 BTU, which is a smaller unit, and then we have 170,000 BTU, which is our bigger unit. Those two units are started exactly the same. So you treat them both as if they were the same. The only difference is the amps that is needed to start them both up, which any 20 amp household outlet would work. So, first thing you're going to do is when we come and we install this, we start it up, we plug it in, we make sure it works, we make sure it fires up. Then my guys are instructed to turn everything off, all the propane. But they will leave the heater hooked up to the outlet that they use. The only thing that you need to check is you want to check that outlet, make sure number one, it's still plugged in. And number two, if you have a GFI outlet, you want to make sure that the button is pressed in. Because a lot of times, sometimes when we test these on site, it may trip and pop that out. And that way it may not work. So it's a big problem we end up coming into when we do get phone calls over the weekend. Press that button and usually problem solved. So the first thing you're going to do, check the outlet. Second thing you're going to do is you're going to come to the propane tank and you're going to turn the nozzle. It's the silver nozzle on the top. Sometimes it's on the side, so as long as you notice the silver one, you turn it counterclockwise. Give it about 3 good turns. You don't need to open up all the way. But you also don't want to open up too little because then you will open up propane to the unit and it won't start. So that's on. Second thing is you're going to walk to the thermostat. Now if you have a tent, your thermostat is inside of the tent. So you're going to be walking from the outside to the inside to the outside. But this is the order that it should be done. So I know it's inconvenient, but just trust me on this one. So thermostat. The thermostat, you'll hear a click. Now that click is determining what the weather is that is currently right now. So if it was 80 degrees, I won't hear that click until I get past 80 degrees. So you need to keep turning it until you hear that click. There's the click. It's about 75 in here. So the click is on, and then you see that light turn on. So turn it off, turn it on. That green light should be on now. Okay? So then you come to the back of the unit, and you have a button. You want to press the top of the button. Alright, we never touch the bottom. That's the blower. That's no good. We want to press the top in. And at this point, once this is established, once this is done, and you press it in, you're going to hear the unit start, you're going to hear clicking, and then you're going to hear it fire up. You'll actually hear it fire up. So, turn it on and listen. There it is. It just fired. So it ignites, fires lit. The best way to make sure that it's lit is walk back inside of the tent and put your hand in front and make sure it's hot air coming out. Now, if your unit is not lighting, what I want you to do before you call the emergency line is I need you to go, put it back on neutral, and then press it back in, and if there's a problem and it won't light, these lights will determine what the problem is. Now you have 3 lights here, 3 different problems. It could be propane, it could be not enough power, it could be a couple different things. If you have an older unit, you do not have 4 buttons here. You have 1 button. That button will blink, and you want to keep track of how many times that button blinks. That's the older unit. Alright, this is a newer unit, that's the older unit. You want to keep track of how many times it blinks, and then when you call the emergency line, you just tell the person, which is most likely going to be me, tell me how many times it blinked. That way I know what the issue is. And then at that point, we'll walk back through the whole process, and we'll take it from there. Alright, and that's just about it. So if you have any problems, call the emergency line. But hopefully you do not, and have a good party.